Let me tell you a story that might feel uncomfortably familiar. It is late at night. The house is quiet in that heavy way it gets when everyone has finally gone to bed, and the day has wrung you out. There is a half-finished cup of tea on the table, a stack of envelopes nearby, the glow of your phone screen lighting up your face. You open your banking app, and there it is again. The number that makes your stomach drop. You whisper the same prayer you have whispered 100 times. God, please, just help me get through this month. Help me pay this bill. Help me not fall behind again. You mean every word. You are not playing games with heaven. You love your family. You are trying to be responsible. You have done everything they told you to do. You have written affirmations on sticky notes and taped them to your bathroom mirror. You have listened to videos about abundance while folding laundry. You have tried to keep a gratitude journal. Even on days when you did not feel grateful for much, you have tithed or given when you could, hoping that maybe generosity would unlock something. And yet, there you are again, sitting at the same table, with the same knot of fear sitting in your chest. You look at your situation and you think, maybe it is me. Maybe I do not have enough faith. Maybe God blesses other people, but for some reason, I am not on that list. If that has ever crossed your mind, I want you to hear me very clearly. It is not because you are weak or unspiritual or forgotten. Often, the women who cry the hardest over money are the ones who love the deepest and carry the most. The problem is not your heart. The problem is that no one ever taught you how much power sits inside your everyday words. Florence Scovel Shinn had a very simple, almost shocking way of saying it. She said, "Your word is your wand." She meant that your words are not just commentary on your life. They shape your life. They send out instructions. They go ahead of you and prepare the way. Most of us were taught to pray for money like beggars, not like daughters. We were taught to come to God with our hands shaking, listing our needs, hoping that if we ask politely enough and often enough, something might trickle down. So we pray for abundance at night, and then all day long, we speak lack without even noticing. We stand at the grocery store, look at the prices, and breathe out, "It is impossible. I am never going to get ahead." We pay a bill and murmur, "Money just disappears. It never stays with me." We make a joke to a friend, "I am always broke. That is just my life." We say these sentences as if they are harmless little clouds of air. Florence would say they are not harmless at all. They are commands. Your subconscious mind hears every word you say about money. It is like a quiet, loyal servant taking notes. It does not argue with you. It does not say, "She is exaggerating. She is just tired." It writes down what you repeat and treats it as an order it must obey. When you keep saying, "I am always behind," your inner servant writes, "always behind," and begins to filter your choices, your attention, and your energy to match that order. When you repeat, "I cannot afford anything nice," it registers, "nothing nice," and you unconsciously walk past opportunities that would have honored you. When you declare, "Money never stays with me," your mind and your nervous system cooperate to make that story feel true, again and again. Now imagine that this inner servant is also how divine law works through you. Heaven is not ignoring you. Spirit is not deaf, but the law is exact. It responds to the orders you give most consistently, not the wish you whisper once and then cancel 20 times with your complaints. That realization can sting at first. It means some of our most honest, desperate prayers have been soaked in fear, and our everyday conversations have been powerful, repeated orders for more of what we do not want. But once the sting passes, there is something incredibly hopeful about it. If our words have been powerful enough to keep the lack in place, then our words can be powerful enough to open the door out. Florence did not see you as a powerless woman sitting outside a closed gate. She saw you as a co-worker with God, someone whose right it is to call in what is already hers by divine right, under grace and in perfect ways. She would ask, "What are you decreeing?" What story are you prophesying over your own life every time you talk about money? This is where the shift happens. You move from praying about money with fear in your voice to commanding money to show up with calm authority in your tone. I want you to imagine another night at that same kitchen table. The tea is there, the phone is there, the numbers are still what they are. But something in you is tired of begging, not tired of God, tired of speaking as if you are alone and powerless. Instead of saying, "God, please, I am desperate," you put your hand gently on the table, you take a slow breath, and you say quietly but clearly, "I am done prophesying lack over my life. I now command money to show up for me under grace and in perfect ways. I am guided to wise action. I am provided for in ways I can see and in ways I cannot see yet." In that moment, your bank balance may not change. The bills might still be lying there, but you have stepped out of the role of beggar and back into the role of daughter. You have stopped knocking on the door and remembered that you live in the house. We make this real by practice. For the next 7 days, choose one clear, simple command about money. Not a long paragraph, not 50 different affirmations. 1. It might sound like this: I now command money to show up for me under grace, in perfect ways, for every rightful need. Or, I now command all channels of divine supply to open and flow to me easily and rightly. Choose the sentence that sits best in your chest, the one that feels steady, not forced. Every morning, before you drown in notifications or worries, write that command down. Then say it out loud, slowly, like you are speaking to someone who actually listens. You are not yelling into the sky. You are speaking to your own subconscious mind, to the law that has always been at work through you, to the pattern that is ready to be rewritten. You say it once or twice with your full attention. Then you go about your day as a woman who has placed an order, instead of one who is hoping to be noticed. During the day, you become very gentle, but very honest with your language. When you hear yourself starting to say, "I cannot afford that," you pause. You remember your inner servant with the notebook. You say, even if only in your heart, "That was my old command. I cancel that." Then you choose something new, such as, "I choose wisely how I spend, and I am open to new money showing up for this in right ways." When a small piece of money appears, notice it. When you receive a small discount, when a friend insists on paying for lunch, when a tiny refund comes in the mail, when you find a coin in a parking lot, do not brush it off. Say, "Thank you." Write it in a little notebook or in the notes on your phone. Not because the amount will change your life, but because you are training your mind to see that your command is beginning to echo back. At the same time, pay attention to the ideas that start to surface. When you stop repeating, "I am stuck," your mind is no longer handcuffed to that script. You may find yourself thinking about an old skill you pushed aside because you assumed it would never pay. You may notice a job posting or an opportunity that you would have scrolled past before. You may feel a quiet nudge to send a message, ask a question, or open a conversation about money that you have been afraid to have. This is not magic in the sense of snapping your fingers and waking up rich. It is more like waking up from a long, fearful dream and realizing that you do have some say in how this goes. Your words open the path, your actions walk it. Florence loved to remind people that what you can conceive as true and continually affirm will eventually pass into your experience when it is under grace and in a perfect way. She was not interested in wishful thinking. She was interested in using the spoken word as a tool to align with divine order. So let us bring this back to you right now. You have history. You have memories of sitting alone with bills and tears. You have moments when you felt ashamed of your situation, even when it was not your fault. You have prayed from that place. You have done what you knew to do. There is nothing to be ashamed of in that. But this can be the moment where you say, "I am not going to spend the rest of my life praying like a beggar at a closed door. I am going to start speaking like a woman who knows she is loved, backed, and guided, even if my outer circumstances are still catching up. If you can, place your hand over your heart for a second. Feel it beating. That is proof that life has not given up on you. Then repeat, in your own way, I release the prayers of fear and lack I have spoken about money. I forgive myself for not knowing any better. From today, I choose to speak as a daughter under divine law. I now command money to show up for me under grace and in perfect ways. I am guided every step of the way. Let those words hang in the air for a moment. Let a part of you that is tired finally exhale. You do not have to fix everything tonight. You do not have to understand every step. All you are doing is changing the station you are tuned to. For 7 days, give yourself the gift of watching your words. One command each morning. A gentle correction when old phrases try to slip out. A simple little record of every way money appears, no matter how small. At the end of those 7 days, you will not just have a different script in your mouth. You will have a page full of evidence that your life responds, even in small ways, when you sit up straight in your spirit and speak as someone who is not alone. If you feel moved to, share the command you are choosing in your own heart. Write it down somewhere visible. Whisper it while you are washing dishes. Let it become the new background music of your mind. And when fear tries to pull you back into the old prayers, remember that Florence would not have you grovel at the feet of lack. She would grin in that calm way of hers and say, "Speak the word, and then look with wonder at what appears." You have spent enough years speaking as if you are at the mercy of everything and everyone. Now is your time to speak as if you are partnered with something greater, because you are. Do not pray for money from a place of terror. Command it to show up under grace, in ways that bless you and everyone connected to you. Then watch, gently and patiently, as your world begins to rearrange itself around the new language you finally decided to live by.